live from the Bayside Bunker. It's another edition of Bettin N Boozin here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Roscoe, and we're taking a little bit of a throwback and a trip down memory lane tonight as we have not the original four, but the original four, myself, Patrick, Charlie, and Noah, as we chop up a really nice Saturday card at Saratoga. It's going to be a really fun one. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you guys all so much for joining the show. I greatly appreciate it. If you guys do end up enjoying the podcast tonight, which we sure hope you do, please go down below the video player here on YouTube, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it because not only is it 100% completely free to do and the best way to help out our channel, but also pushes this podcast out into YouTube's algorithm to hopefully bring more horse players to the HHH Racing Podcast. And of course, for that, we thank you. Normal podcast schedule every single week is scrolling on the bottom of the screen right now. We kick off your week here on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern with myself, Patrick, and Andrew, and Charlie, of course, as well. At 9 p.m. Eastern, you get Pacific Horseplayers with Noah and Jackson Muniz talking West Coast racing. And then you have the flagship show Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern with Howard, Pete, and Paul talking. This week, it's the Woodbine Kings Plate Day, which is always a fantastic day of racing. Basically, the Canadian Kentucky Derby. If you want to check that out, come tune in tomorrow live at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's Thursday, August 13th. If you're watching this as a replay, of course, welcome to you guys as well. Comment below the video player here on YouTube. Who is your best bet for Saturday at Saratoga? But of course, we have a bunch of stuff to go through. You can follow us short form content, TikTok and Instagram. You can follow us on audio platforms where all these podcasts are also posted. If that's your thing, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor is where you can find those, or wherever you find your podcasts. Thank you, of course, to the sponsors of the HHH Racing Podcast. Every Tuesday night, we have a show called The Leaderboard, brought to you by TwinSpires. Talks live money contest strategy with recaps of last week's contest, previews of this week's contest. Whether you're a novice or a seasoned veteran in contest play, The Leaderboard has you covered. It's a fantastic thing to get into, and TwinSpires is the place to do it. Of course, Wire to Wire, we'll talk about the Coast to Coast Pick5 every single week. Subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss that. And thanks to always for Adelphi Racing Club for sponsoring the HHH Racing Podcast. Last thing, then we'll bring the boys on the screen because all hell's going to break loose at that point. The Power Picks, guys, we come out with them every single Saturday. It's our tip sheet here on the HHH Racing Podcast. It's all done patreon.com/HHH Racing Podcast. And it's a $21.60 a month charge, about $5 a weekend. And we have been doing this for over 5.5 years and still well and truly in the positive. 2026 has also been fantastic. As unbiasedly as I could say this, they really do pay for themselves. Again, it's all done through patreon.com/HHH Racing Podcast. And you can view previous editions of the Power Picks before you buy them and learn more about us over on HHHRacingPodcast.com. I see a bunch of people in the chat. Thank you guys all so much. You guys are always fantastic, but I'll bring on the boys. Then we'll get right into the handicapping. But of course, first, I do want to shout something out before we get started. From the East Coast of New Jersey, Mr. Patrick Kunsel. From the Chicagoland area and the Ohio State University, Charlie Freeman. And rounding out the four, Mr. Pacific Horseplayers, Mr. West Coast Bias himself, Noah Maher. Gentlemen, we are all here tonight. Unfortunate, not for a happy thing, but of course a happy thing. Patrick, my friend, you've been with us since episode 1. You might see a clip of that later in the show, which is going to be a very good one, let me tell you. But Pat, people who have followed the show for a long time know in the winter, with you being a referee, you're going to be a college referee this year, if I'm not mistaken. And the time is going to take away this is not completely goodbye by any means. When Pat has a Wednesday free, he'll hop on with us. But Pat, at least for the foreseeable future, through referee season, you will be leaving us on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I won't be here steady as much as I would like to be. I just can't commit to every week, and I don't want to, do a disjustice to the whole crew. So I'm hoping Charlie's going to step in and fill the big shoes that he needs to fill for me. No, listen, it's great to have you guys on. This is going to be a blast tonight, and we get to cover Saratoga, so I'm looking forward to it. But it has been a blast, but we'll keep going. It's just not going to be as consistent.
Oh, trust me, this will not be the last you see of Pat. Everyone, I promise you, this will not be the last you see of him. But no, everyone knows Charlie talks for all three of us, so I don't know if the shoes will be. Well, the shoes will be filled. Whether those with winners or losers will be, I guess, the sight to be seen.
Well, whether they're winners or losers, we know those shoes will be filled with lots of words, so we can count on that.
That's what I meant
I also
by that.
just saw his bio, which I'm a little hurt by. He said, "Thanks, Pat," but now I'm stuck with Noah. So I don't know. We're off to a hot start here.
Yeah, we're Charlie. I'll at least give you a chance to rebuttal on all of that. But
no, I've always had my bio being the same as Mr. Triple Crown, but now that we've moved away from those races, and with this being Pat's, last episode as a permanent guest, and then switching more to being, from time to time, I had to do some sort of tribute to appreciate him as part of the, I know this is our original crew, but the original crew was us three. And then we got stuck with adding Noah. And now that Pat won't be here as often, now we're going to be stuck with him more. So I felt like I had to thank Pat and make it clear what I'm thanking him for, which is both, how great he's been to have a part, but also that he's allowed me to avoid having as many episodes with Noah as I may, have to have in the future. But no, on a serious note, it was always fun, having our original trio and having, the banter with us start. Obviously, Noah and I also developed banter, and Pat and Noah did as well. But I feel like the original thing that made this podcast what it was me and Pat, who were very opinionated, let's say, people having our hash outs. I know that was mainly more in the sports realm, I guess, per se, than horse racing. But, still with the horses, we'd go at it. And I know you've got some good things coming up, Kyle, for the rest of this episode to highlight. But yeah, like you said, for Pat, I know this isn't goodbye. We had a similar thing with me when I had my first year of law school where we thought, when would I ever come back on? And then you end up finding your way back in one way or another. And I know Pat will ultimately miss me and Kyle. I don't know about Noah, but us two enough that he'll make sure to make time to stop by from time to time.
Do you see why we had to get rid of this? Because this is all that it's like. It's a married couple down there. They won't stop. This again, it's supposed to be his show, and we're just between the two of us. But that's what I said. That's why, unfortunately, Noah got his own show, so now we're stuck by the rest of us. But either way, guys, I appreciate everyone being in here. I see a ton of people in the chat already. Terry Frank was here very early, couldn't make it tonight, but still wanted to jump on and wish Patrick all the best. Good luck in your new role as a college referee. You're going to be excellent at it, Terry. Always appreciate it. My friend Katie, of course, was here early. Ed Burke says, "Greetings, degenerates." And I read this already, Ed. Kyle, 2 weeks ago, I made my irresponsible wager of the week at Colonial, which was achieved, loaded at 21, bet down to 9-1, led every step but the last two. And I will be honest with you, Ed, I obviously had the winner that day. And when I saw who was behind who I had, I thought of you instantly because I did remember that was your responsible wager of the week. So I actually felt really bad from it, but that was also the best day I've had all year long. So we'll take where we can, but I did feel for you, Ed, right away. Katie said, "Thank you very much, Katie. Graciously appreciate. My birthday was on Monday. So Katie, graciously appreciate to you. Tom Espinoza, my friend. Great to see you. Brad Anderson, my friend. Great to see you also in here. Greetings to the Bettin N Boozin crew. The original crew gathered one more time. Love it. Best of luck to Patrick and his future career aspirations. Thanks so much for the insight over the years, but also, of course, years to come. Great friend Sylvain is here. Just everyone to wish Pat the best, to see you again at the spa next year. If there's one place that you'll see Pat, it's definitely up there in Saratoga Springs. He also says the Backstreet Boys are back. If we can start singing, if that's what we want. And I don't know if that's exactly what the listeners want to hear. Matt Miller, of course, is here because congratulations. John Judge, I haven't seen you in a long time, my friend. Always great to see you. Nice to see the Young Bucks getting on with their careers. Best of luck, Pat. And I'm sure we'll get more throughout the entirety of the show. But, guys, we have a great late pick 5 to cover on Saturday at Saratoga. But, of course, one last time for the man himself. Cheers to everybody out there. Of course, I had to go with the nectar of the gods for the last show. So, cheers. I was drinking wine yesterday, basically for Pat. I didn't even...
That was a great picture to get sent to me. I got to be honest. When I saw that, I was...
Emma doing God's work as usual. But, guys, we'll get right into the handicapping, of course. But cheers to everybody out there. Let's pick some winners. Race 8 kicks off the late pick 5 on Saturday. Of course, 12 races as they usually card on Saturdays. First race is a nice maiden special weight 115,000, 6 furlongs for 2-year-olds on the dirt, bringing up the Equibase right now. And since we're covering Saratoga, we do have morning lines in the program. So we get to have a beautiful last day for the man up above. If I can click the correct buttons, that would help. The morning line favorite is the Chad Brown train number 2, Cardman, ridden by Flavian Pratt at 7-2, a lukewarm morning line favorite. Second choice, I think it's $1.9 million purchase, the number 3 QB Rocket for Irad Ortiz and Brad Cox at 4-1. Third choice to the outside, the number 8 Damavan for David Egan, who makes a reappearance here in the States, trained by Todd Pletcher at 9-2, bringing up our picks on the screen right now. Noah and I are the only two locked in step with the 92 horse and the number 8 Damavan. Charlie, you're going with the morning lane favorite, the number 2 Cardman. Pat, I'm going to let you talk first, though. This is the horse I think will probably be the favorite come post time. It's the connections, the purchase price, gun runner, the workouts. I feel like everything points to this horse being as good as he can. I just really wonder what the price will end up being at post time.
Yeah, I do wonder that too, Kyle. Listen, Brad's 3 for 13 with firsters at the meet so far. That's to no surprise. He's doing well. He's had a couple early on. I remember he had that one on the Saturday that we were up there. He had 2 of them. The Good Life was one who stuck out, and with the Good Life, Brad brought that horse right in off the van and never worked at Saratoga with that horse. He's going to do the same here with QB Rocket. And I just think this horse, I couldn't visually watch any works. I couldn't find them. I'm not sure if you guys were able to, but it just seems like all systems go here. The purchase price, like you mentioned, Kyle, is there. The ownership group, they seem pretty intent on thinking this horse is going to be a good one. I'm going to put this horse on top. I think it's more to the fact that I wanted to put the 2 on top, but isn't his form kind of like muttered up from who won last Saturday?
Yeah, Charlie, you could hit on that as well. You have the horse. I actually don't have this horse anywhere, so maybe I'm just stupid. Noah has the horse in third. Pat, of course, has the horse in second. Charlie, Life is Good has been absolutely fantastic out of the gate for his stallion career. 11 for 40 total, 11 for 31 in the dirt sprint category. So all these Life is Good should be treated as such. But with the purchase price of the 3, I think that one will go off favorited. But maybe just based on Life is Good, Chad Pratt, this horse could also go off favorited completely as well, as they have it on the morning line.
Yeah, and I was watching his works. I thought he's looked pretty consistent, which is something I liked. I was, to be honest with you, really torn actually between putting the 2 and 8 on top. They were the ones in the mornings who impressed me the most. Granted, I wasn't able to find any works to watch on the 3 horse. I do think because of the purchase price, and it is Cox and Ortiz, that the 3 will end up going off favorite. And I also have a feeling, kind of same idea with the 8, for Egan to be coming back in for this one and for it to be $1 million Pletcher, you have to imagine the 8 will take some money as well. So I imagine Cardman will honestly probably go off around 7-2, but more so because I think some of these others are going to end up taking some more money and the favorite will be shorter. But like you said, these Life is Good horses have been great. You're getting Pratt with Chad Brown again, one of the toughest duos to beat. And for me, he's been one of the more consistent workers that I've watched. So it was hard for me to really go elsewhere for who I felt safest about, and I like Cardman quite a bit in here. Of course, Pat's has to end with the host film.
Whatever, bite me, all of you. I always love these types of combinations between Chad and Pratt, or anyone like that for that matter. They win 25% of the time, and that's $1.40 ROI. It's like they win a quarter of their races, but they're always bet down so hard that they have such a negative ROI. And Noah, my friend, see, this is why we gave Noah the big bucks to put him on one show. Damavan for Pletcher, I found it fascinating that David Egan was put on this horse. He's really in to ride one horse. And this is the only other mount that he has picked up on the day. It's this trainee, not this time, out of Tempers Rising. And I won't steal your thunder because I'm sure you're going to hit on the dam as well. Pletcher has started out cold, but has he really picked it up?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And David Egan rides the horse in the next race we're going to talk about, which is also owned by Ammo Racing, and Ammo uses him quite a bit, whether it be, in the States here at Gulfstream, Dirt or Turf, and a lot of the races overseas as well. Before I talk about him, I know Pat was asked in the private chat. IRAD is obviously not going to be riding the 3. Does anybody have any
Correct.
idea?
That is correct.
Riding the 3? Because I have no idea. Like,
no,
all the big time guys have mounts in here. Who the hell is going to be?
Is Louis on a horse in this race?
That's what I would. Yep, Louis on the 5.
Oh,
is Jose's on the 1. So that's a very good point. I think I saw something like that on X that was like, what 3% rider is going to pick up all the monster mounts that Tyrad has? Maybe
Johnny
it'd be Danilo. It could be Johnny V.
Is Johnny? I didn't remember seeing Johnny the rest of the way. Is he in town?
I don't know because
he might go to Mount NYRA and just clean up that card again.
Yeah.
But that's actually a very good point, Noah. Thank you very much for bringing that up because I honestly I read all about it and then completely forgot about it, as it usually happens in my brain. But the 8, like I said, I won't steal your thunder. I'll give you the 4 and I'll hit on whatever you don't.
Yeah, half to Owen Almighty, who was probably going longer than the connections preferred, or actually it's a given fact that he was going longer than preferred, has really flourished, turning back to the 7 furlongs, the 1 mile type races. This horse, I thought, was clearly outworking a stablemate named Electro, who they paid a mere $1.6 million for. So hopefully we'll see him later in the meet as well. And then, the David Egan thing, what we talked about, or I mentioned, this is not a big concern for me. But just like the works I saw in the mornings, I think the distance here with the 6 furlongs is hopefully not on the short side. I think the 6 should be fine. And Kyle, I don't know what you thought. I think the biggest thing he probably has going for him is the only confirmed speed is the horse immediately to his inside. So if he breaks slow, or if Decimation is just a rocket out of there, I feel like that might give David Egan a little more room to work with. Or if he's just as quick, he can kind of just let Ricardo go with the 7, sit right off. And I think that trip's going to work out well for him as well.
Well, that's what I was going to say, was just the fact of I love that he's drawn outside. Even we bring up the speed just to his inside. I think that's absolutely necessary to be brought up, but I just much prefer the horse drawn in the 8, where Egan can kind of read the break, rather than a horse in these baby races like the 2 or the 3, where they're kind of forced to their hand, right? I love when these baby races are drawn outside. You mentioned Owen Almighty. That's what I was kind of hinting at before. No, I know you do your homework, so I knew you'd hit. I just kind of soft tossed it for you to hit it out of the park. But $1 million purchase again. Dave and Noah mentioned Ammo Racing, who uses David Egan a lot, and you'll see my pick next race. I'm not going to shy away from Mr. Egan here at Saratoga. And the thing is, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, well, he's an overseas rider riding here." He rode at Gulfstream all winter. He won at like 18% at Gulfstream Park on using not only dirt, but dirt, tapeta, and turf. He's a fantastic rider, and he knows what to. Well, I guess it's on the screen. He gets 11%, but still, he knows his way around the dirt track. I love that he's drawn outside. Demavand will be my top pick in this race. I have the 3 underneath as well. Going through real quick underneath. Obviously, we have 4 people on here, so we'll have to go a little bit quicker through our underneath horses as we usually do. Pat, I'll let you talk first again. Vakota for Carmouche and Kinnan LaRose, a Vacoma Colt who's been working very well out on the Saratoga main course.
Yeah, Kinnan's had a couple 2-year-olds start to run. And, when these barns start getting hot at Saratoga, especially with the 2-year-olds, you got to gravitate a little bit. And I know he gets the outside draw, but with Kendrick, this horse had a gate work that I really liked. And I'm hoping can break pretty well from the outside. In a 12-1, I'll be more than glad to take. Just hoping, this horse does get bet, and I can see the positive from that standpoint. But in the mornings, this horse looks very good. I mean, this is one of those races, guys, where you kind of watch all the replays and they all look halfway decent. So, but at this price, I definitely want to give this horse another chance in here.
Yeah, you can see Kinnan is only 1 for 16 on the win end, but still has 5 for 16 in the money. Still does train. He's starting to pick it up a little bit with training these 2-year-olds. Look, the guy only took over Tom Amos's racing stable, 4 months ago at this point? Something like that. And the fact he's still winning at 17% shows you how good Kinnan LaRose actually is. And that work that Pat was mentioning was that July 16th work. 59-4, 1 out of 8 horses. So Vakota, if he breaks from the gate, Carmouche, I feel like it's almost like when you kind of card Louis on a horse. You kind of know the way that this horse is going to go. So maybe the 10 can outbreak a lot and if he comes over, absolutely a player in here. let's see, real quick. I will talk. Let's have, all right, then Noah, let's talk about the one, and then we'll move on with McCoy. Cherie, I'm usually against her first time out, but she's really picked it up, especially in the last year. You can see on the bottom of the ones PPs there, 20%, $2.96 ROI because of people like me thinking that she always needs one before. But the only thing is this horse is drawn on the rail and is going to have a lot to do from that standpoint, unless the horse can break like a rocket.
Yeah, there's definitely questions to answer. If this horse is able to get the job done, I will be grinning ear to ear because I know how much pain that would bring you to see a Cherie Firster be able to get the job done in a race like this. I mean, plain and simple, it's not like they don't ride maiden special weight races at Ellis Park. I mean, they could have easily fanned this horse down to Ellis, but they bothered to bring this horse up to Saratoga and brought him up early. He's got to work over the track. Cherie's main man, Jose, rides. Cherie's 5 for 20 with first-time starters at Saratoga over the last 5 years. So while she's not very good in general, it seems like she brings some pretty good ones here to Saratoga. And the rail's obviously a concern, but the dam was fast. Some of the sieves have been quick, and it's not like from a talent standpoint they were really all that high quality. But he's a PA bred, and they paid $260 for him, so obviously he moved well. We'll see what happens. There's obviously some obstacles in front of him, but if he's in the 5-1 range, I think you got to take a long look at him. I
agree. I mean, there's really not a whole lot of horses in here that you can, unless you have one of those angles, it's kind of going to have to be a 4 or 5 deep. But also, it always is a great thing when these baby races are first in the pick 5. So if you are playing that, you can take a look at the board, see where the money's going, and also base your opinions based on the money. In race 8, I'm going 8-3-5. Pat's going 3-2-10. Charlie's going 2-8-3. Noah's going 8-1-2. Guys, moving on to what is the feature of the day on Saturday. It is, of course, the old sword dancer, now named for the late great Christophe Clement. It's the Christophe Clement Turf Stakes, Grade 1, 1.5 miles on the inner turf course, $750,000 on the line. The morning line favorite is the very talented number 6. Minaret Station for Jose Ortiz and Will Walden at 3-1. Second choice, the number 4, Program Trading for Flavian Pratt and Chad Brown at 7-2. Your third choice, the number 3, the winner of out at Saratoga last time, Old Crazy Bone for not Irad Ortiz and Mike Maker at 4-1. Bringing up our picks on the screen right now. 2 of them are going with the number 5, Fort George for Kieran Schumark, who comes back out here for Ed Walker at a nice 9-2 price. And Charlie, my friend, I will definitely let you go first. You're going with the mare, I should say. She's 5 years old. It's not the filly, it's the mare in this race where she came. This will be second time out in the U.S., which, not trying to steal your thunder, but I know that's a angle that you really like. For George Bohe and Manny Franco, the red hot Manny Franco hopping aboard.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to shy away from it. This is the kind of races that at least 2 of us on here I know are not the best at and don't particularly enjoy. That being said, I think this is a really competitive field and there's no one who really stands out. So I was trying to find the value of the race. And for a while, I was thinking about going with Ancient Egypt, to be honest, especially because that's the one, as you were mentioning earlier, Egan is probably mainly here for. That being said, my angle of not liking a horse first-time U.S. and liking them a lot more second-time U.S. And I thought the 7, she was ultra impressive. In that race, obviously towards the end, they started to really pick it up and got some faster fractions. But for a horse who was going to be sitting at the back, they really weren't moving all that fast early. And she was obviously saving some ground at a decent spot. But Flavian just looked so, and I know he left her, but that's obviously because he had to go to Klarovich and Chad. But Flavian just looked so patient and calm on her the entire time. And, obviously the field wasn't amazing, no, but relative to these others that have been in grade 2s, I think it is pretty similar in ability. And, beat some other U.S., and I know we've talked about our U.S. distance horses, but beat some other ones that have been decent for a while, like Speed Chopper was solid. Obviously Jazora's fallen off a cliff, but, beat her as well. Alluring Angel's been kind of competitive there. Donna Claudia obviously has had a few appearances, and then some of these others. And, she was one who I thought was really impressive. I had her on top actually when I covered her. And I just thought she had such a rapid leg kick, and it looked like Pratt knew the whole way down the stretch that he had a winner there. And she was just starting to unleash, but obviously the wire had already arrived there. And if I'm getting anywhere near 6-1 with the red hot Manny Franco, now second time US, I'm happy to take it because I think these are the kinds of races where you see favorites lose so often, and you got to try to find value.
No, it's Servi, like you hit on there. The kick of that horse was fantastic. They did go pretty quick in those middle quarters there. I mean, but they went to the half in 52-3. I know it's a mile and a half, but it's still very slow. But I mean, this is a horse that had some success overseas. Was second in a Group 1 race back in August of 2025. Third at the Carrab before that in a Group 1 race. So lots of things to like about Servi. Just a matter of, will she class up to these animals that she ran very, very well, but she got it her way, got a 95 by her out there. She's going to have to improve in theory, but if she gets the setup, she absolutely could be the one to beat in here. I'm going to go to you guys next. Another second-time U.S. starter for Ed Walker. This was a horse originally from Great Britain, but had some success in the UAE. Pat, I'll let you go first. Noah, hit on anything else. Fort George, 9-2 on the morning line. Kieran Schumacher comes back in to ride this horse who just got nosed out by a horse who was also in this race, who ran wire to wire in Old Crazy Bone. But Pat, what'd you like most about Fort George?
Yeah, I thought Fort George, especially in the Bowling Green, like you said, Kyle, being a narrow loser of that race, he had to make an early move, I thought, on the far turn. And I thought he ran huge in the stretch. We'll make his second start here in the country and, his second start off a layoff. And I just think, the form that he provides overseas, this should be a spot where he's ready to go. And I'm hoping to get a good price on him. Old Crazy Bone got away very nicely. And that horse is good. Don't get me wrong. But Fort George had a lot of work to do right now. And I just felt like he looked really good. And he was trying to get him late. And I thought he was gonna, but he couldn't get there in time. But I really like this horse. And I'm hoping there's a little bit more speed to kind of get with Old Crazy Bone. So Fort George can show that kick late.
The funny thing, Pat, is you won't see it on the replay when you're watching the pan shot. I had to go actually back to Saratoga Live on YouTube to check this out. This horse galloped out like 2.5, 3 lengths in front of both Old Crazy Bone and Minaret Station, which I thought was odd. And then going back through his form, he's got some serious races at a mile and a quarter, a mile and a half, and you go all the way back to Dubai City of Gold Group 2. Look at that monster that he lost to. Rebels Romance only a length and a half behind him. He's been stationed here at Saratoga for a little while. I don't know how you feel, Pat. I would absolutely love him if it was a U.S. rider on him and not a Euro rider, because I thought he made some interesting decisions in that ride last time. He pressed Old Crazy Bone for the first 2 furlongs, then backed up with no cover, then made that move around the far turn, like you said. And Old Crazy Bone in that race had kind of turned it into a sprint for home, where I think Fort George is a little bit better when he's grinding. I think the 12 furlongs probably suits him a little bit better when it comes to his style as well. So I have no idea what price we're going to get. I have no idea how the public is going to bet this race. If the 6 Minaret Station is really going to be the favorite, I will be licking my chops. But I mean, if we get in the 4 to 192 range, Pat, I'd be feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, I would too. And that brings up the point, and Kyle, I'll give this to you about the Bowling Green. Out of that race, I prefer Fort George, obviously. But Minaret Station definitely didn't have it his way in that race with his closing kick. And I don't know what we're going to get from Minaret Station, because I don't know how much that's going to change in this spot.
That's exactly right. That's the thing I actually wanted to bring up to you guys was that question was, I felt like Minaret Station probably ran the best race out of all of them just because of the fact that he didn't have anything his way. And he made up a pretty good amount of ground there in the last, 1/8 of a mile. Unfortunately, just not enough for both him and my wallet, for that matter, because they just didn't go fast enough. But Fort George ran absolutely great in that race. My question is, what's the trip going to look like this time? But Pat hit it. It's kind of the same group almost again. They have the program trading on the lead, which I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. But Old Crazy Bones quick, obviously, but then you have Fort George, who's right there with them. So I don't exactly know, who's going to have or how much of a different trip it's going to be from the Bowling Green. So you hit it on the head. My thought was, since Minaret Station didn't get the setup, that's probably the horse I would want. However, Fort George is absolutely talented. I have him in the mix, but you guys all have him second. This is my irresponsible wager of the week, guys. I love this horse on Saturday. Ancient Egypt, David Egan, Charlie Johnston comes into ride here, has finished second back-to-back races to a very nice horse in Maltese Cross, who's 3 for 4, only lost to the O'Brien train Christmas Day in the Epsom Derby, which didn't lose by much at all. That was also at 1.5 miles. He's ran, multiple turns. He's ran on the soft, the good to firm, the good to soft. He's ran every single bit of it. Atone out of the mare Atone has produced some very nice horses as well. Some nice winners. Ancient Egypt was a winner and this is a Juddmonte farm bred horse too in the UK. So there's a bunch of things to like about him. Obviously, he's also bifrankle. That should also be noted. Time form rating of a 111. If you take that into consideration, the time form also I've noticed is a little bit stricter, I guess, in Europe, where it seems like they're on the lower end. But if you take the equivalent of the 15 to 20 points difference, he has a 96 buyer in that last race in the Grand Prix de Paris, and he only lost by a head to a very nice horse in Maltese Cross. The other thing that I like about him, guys, and we'll see how it, the question is, how will it transfer over from Europe to the Americas? He's been forward in every single race that he's been in. Noah's shaking his head. Yes. If he breaks somewhere in mid pack, and again, if he breaks slow, he breaks slow. It is what it is. But he's been in the 2 races he's lost, and they've been complete duds on the screen. He's been in 2 monster races. The Royal Lodge, he lost to Bo Echo, who unfortunately actually just suffered an injury and had to retire. But then lost to Christmas Day and Maltese Cross, who then came back to win again in the race that he lost to Ancient Egypt lost to him by a head. So this horse, if he sits forward, if he breaks from the gate and sits fourth, Noah, I'm going to be absolutely in love with it, and we'll just see what he's got. But 5-1 is much good enough to take a shot with him in this race, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's definitely got speed. I thought when I went and watched back the Prix de Paris or Prix de Paris, I kind of preferred the way that you said it. I thought that was
Prix de Paris.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I kind of thought it was one of those cases where he won the battle and lost the war, where he was kind of chasing a leader that finished up the track, and then Maltese Cross was able to run him down with a couple other horses that were, in a 3 or 4 way photo. But I thought he ran pretty well. I didn't really know what to do with the fact that they didn't run him last week. Like they're choosing to run against older horses, which in theory is tough, but you can also look the other way and say that they've got a vote of confidence. So I don't really know. I know he's going to be forward. I'm definitely going to be using him. I could see a effort where he wins by 2.5. I could see an effort where he finishes 5th. And if anybody has any idea what that might be, then please let me know.
It wouldn't be my worst finish in a 1.5 mile turf sprint that I picked for my irresponsible wager of the week, but it also wouldn't be my best, considering Burnham Square has done me very well over the last couple months. But you all have this horse in second. Feel free to talk on anything. Of course, this is the race I want to talk the most on throughout the entire day. Everyone has Ancient Egypt in second underneath, but everyone has different horses underneath in third. Like Pat has the 6 Minaret Station. Charlie has the number 5 Fort George, who we've already talked about. But I guess, Noah, I'll give you one more chance, and feel free anyone else to hit on him, then we'll move on. Program Trading, a horse that, every single person on this screen was obscenely high on this horse back in 2024 when he really started to strut his stuff. And I don't know if he's just not as good anymore. That's the way it sure seems. But Pat was completely right on this horse last time in the United Nations. Did get it his own way. But the thing that I think people should like about him in here, if you do like him, is because he can sit a little bit more forward.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? He's going to be forward in a race where the pace scenario definitely looks murky. I don't know who's going to be riding Old Crazy Bone instead of Irad. If I had to guess, it might be Ricardo, because I know Ricardo rides quite a bit for Maker and Flying P. Don't quote me on that. It might be Ricardo, it might be somebody else. That's also 3%. We'll find out about that. but he might be rounding back into form. Is he really in this race? You know, if Chad didn't think he was good enough, I mean, maybe there's a chance that he's getting back to the ways, and that's really the strongest opinion I have on him. But I think the question I would pose to the group is, who the hell is going to be favored in here? Because I have no idea.
Yeah, that is the true question of it all. It could literally be, it could be anyone, and I would say, yeah, that probably makes sense. But unfortunately, another day, JK, I do see you in the chat. I do not have Thoroughgraph pulled up. That would obviously be a very useful tool. If you do have them, would highly recommend that you look, but I unfortunately do not have them in front of me. Lots of different ways to go off, and what is a very nice addition of is it the first or oh shoot, I should really know this. It's the first, right? They called it the Sword Dancer. Of course they called it the Sword Dancer last year. My horse was in the Sword Dancer last year.
Well, what they did was they renamed a race at Gulfstream the Christophe Clement, and then they did it also at Saratoga. So I don't know if they're going to keep the one at Gulfstream too, because the one at Gulfstream was the very one, I want to say. I don't know. It's definitely the first. It's definitely the first at Saratoga.
That's probably what's tripping me up, Noah, is the fact that I was like, didn't they already name a race the Christophe Clement? But
one thing, guys, you know, with Kentucky Downs coming up, like, do we think Old Crazy Bones scratches and goes to the Turf Cup? Like, is there a chance with that?
Yeah, absolutely could, because
rule it out.
I also wouldn't rule out though, because when is that race? Is that in the first week of August this year, or is that the same weekend?
It was September 6th last year. So
correct.
Yeah, it's probably.
I would assume it's the same weekend, but
3 weeks from now.
I can actually look that up because we were.
I don't know. It's just you know, because I heard Sci-Fair is going to go to Kentucky Downs, and I was looking some horses up, and this one came up, and I'm like, oh geez, is this horse going to scratch?
A lot of money, Pat. A lot of
I was going to say the money does talk. That's for damn sure. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. I guess, I mean, Irad hasn't ridden this horse before, but, you know, maybe to get Irad back on, you know, there's a whole ton of different scenarios, but that is a good point to bring up, though, for sure. In the first edition of the Christophe Clement Turf Stakes, I'm going 165. Pat's going 516. Charlie's going 715. Noah's going 514. Lots of good comments in the chat. I do see a bunch of them. Chris Couples says, late arrival. Congrats, Patrick. Awesome. Graciously appreciate it. Our Stephanie, no, there are no Fair Hill shippers in this one. However, that always should be, I guess, something you look at. I always love it. Yeah, I read
a Fair Hill shipper win the last today in Saratoga.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I will keep my mouth shut. In race number 10, guys, and we'll go a little bit quicker through these. I did want to take and give the Christophe Clement Turf its due, because that race is by far the best race of the entire day. No matter where you go, you're going to get paid. The Galway Stakes, though, is next. Two of two stakes on the day. $200,000 in everybody's favorite day of the week, the 5.5 furlong turf sprint for 3-year-old fillies. It's a field of 8 with an MTO slotted in the 9 spot. Morning line favorite is another lukewarm one in the number 6, Mauna Loa, for Irad Ortiz, or not Irad Ortiz. I'm just reading it. Sorry. Mark Cassie, the trainer, at 3-1. Second choice, the number 5, Cadenza, for Manny Franco and Brad Cox at 7-2. Third choice, all the way to the outside in the Florida bred, the number 8, Mythical. First time on the turf, if I'm not mistaken, for Edgar Zayas and Jorge Delgado. Putting our picks up on the bottom of the screen right now. All of us are going with different horses in everybody's favorite day or favorite time of the week. Charlie, I feel like if you kind of given you a little bit of short trip in the last couple races, I will definitely let you go first. You have the number 6, Mauna Loa, a horse that ran off the screen, or sorry, didn't run off the screen, but closed nicely. Then they tried a 7.5 on the inner turf at Woodbine, ran a dud, then came back to sprinting and blew the doors off that field. So I think they found what this horse wants to do. We'll see who comes into the saddle for Irad, but either way, this horse absolutely needs to be noticed in this race and is your morning line favorite.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a tough race. I mean, I feel like for a $200,000 stakes race on the turf, this field is, if I'm being blunt, uninspiring. So I was trying to figure out who I could really see that I thought had a chance to run big again. And look, I understand it was, originally supposed to be on the turf, I believe, because I think that's what the X would be. But obviously ended up being on the synthetic. That being said, I thought the debut was fine. obviously last time out, they set pretty crazy fractions to go 23 flat and 46 flat. I mean, the only place you really see that in is, either if it's going to be at, California or Gulfstream. It's really the only places you see distance turf races setting fractions that fast. So I don't really fault that race at all. And then last time, I mean, I don't know if I've seen a jockey look more confident than on her last time. It's as if the jockey knew this one was 1-9 or one of the Fairhill races, because, I mean, didn't move a step on this horse, was just completely calm, turning for home, acted like they knew no one was catching him. And then she just blasted away from that field. I really like also the bullet work on the turf last time, which makes me think this isn't like something where maybe she just freaked because it's only synthetic. I was just looking for someone to have upside. She's very lightly raced with 3 starts. I think from a class perspective, obviously the 5 you would argue is the horse to beat, as she's running 2 grade 3s. But I feel like the best thing you could really say about her efforts in those grade 3s is she ran in them. And then, some of these others have been coming out of other allowance and optional claiming races or low-level stakes. I mean, obviously Mythical has been incredible on dirt, but, when I look from a breeding perspective, I wasn't thinking, oh my God, this one's just been waiting for a chance on turf. So, had to land somewhere in this race, and I just think the 6 has the most upside.
I'll tell you what, Fraser Ailby is fantastic up at Woodbine. Mark Cassidy does use him a lot up there as well. So just because you see that in the running line shouldn't be, seeing this horse as less. But Mauna Loa, I mean, you see that last work too on the Oklahoma turf course. This horse is rearing to go. Was supposed to get IRAD in the saddle, which I think shows complete intent behind this one. We'll see who hops on her now. But Mauna Loa, we all have her in the mix somewhere. I have her second. Noah has her second. Pat has her third. Charlie, of course, has her on the win end. Probably your most likely winner if she does get the trip that she wants. However, that's my problem, though, is I don't know. There is a lot of other speed in this race. You have the number 1, Gerard's Cross for Kathleen O'Connell, who has a lot of early speed. And the number 7, Triskelion, and Mythical for that matter, is not slow at all. Noah, you have the number 7, Triskelion on top, so I'll go to you next. Your hope, of course, if Mauna Loa does go, just sit right off.
Yeah, that's the hope. I think, Louis always going to show some speed, but I would hope that maybe she's second flight. She kind of showed that she could rate at least a little bit last time in the Pete Patch. I was encouraged by that effort. 2 back, I thought she ran really well off the layoff at Churchill. Set a pretty decent pace in a race that came apart. Something stronger came from either last or second to last when I was looking at that chart. So I like the 2 races. Buyer likes those 2 races. Timeform likes those 2 races. Trip is obviously a question. I thought this was a really tough race. And should we play the game, guys? Who's going to ride for IRAD? Jose's booked. Javier's booked. And even no riders booked on the MTO. So
dude. That was my answer, dude.
And
the best rider of all time.
And doesn't Woodbine have their Kings Plate this Saturday? So I think that's probably where Johnny is, right?
Oh, yeah.
I would assume so, yeah.
So, yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Ricardo.
Do you think I don't want to pronounce the name wrong on the jockey that's on the 6 in this race. Would he come down for this or no? He's probably got good mounts.
I would assume Fraser Ailby is how you say that. I was blanking.
I would have said it even worse. So
Fraser Ailby is how you say that name. And yeah, I'd assume he has mounts on King's Plate Day, and to come down for one race, I don't know if that would necessarily be profitable. It'd probably be like Ricardo or something like that, honestly, or Kendrick. And Mr. Philly Boy 415 in the chat took it right out from under me. Jamie Rodriguez too is another good choice. Being that this horse wants to be quick out of the gate, Kendrick is probably the guy who will hop on here. Mark Cassie's not stupid. Mr. Chuckles, my friend, please.
I was just going to say, I can't help but notice when we're talking about all these jockey suggestions that you skipped over Chris Couples' suggestion. I don't see why that's not being considered. He's in.
I wasn't even looking at that, to be honest with you. I was like, let's put him on. The contest man for NYRA bets, put him on. We're already getting canceled from how many times we brought up the Ferrier situation. So just bring in the NYRA bets crew. We'll put Jackson Muniz on the back of the horse. Basically a shoe-in because he works for NYRA.
It's got to make him 1-9.
That's because the entirety of it's going to be on. That would be fantastic. I would love to see that. I have the number 5 Cadenza on top. This is a horse that's been a little hard to trust. I just think with the speed, he's going to be right, or she's going to be right. She's going to be right off the top end if the pace does heat up. Manny Franco, of course, has been riding lights out. And I actually said that I forgot who I was talking to when we were at Saratoga. I was like, with these guys traveling around and, Irad's injured now. Of course, he was already not there to start the meet. They got to be on watch, man. Manny Franco absolutely has every chance to win this riding title, especially with the way he's riding right now. He's only I know Jose won a bunch today, I believe, but going into the day, I think he was like 4 behind the lead or something like that. He's been riding beautifully out at Saratoga to basically be Frank Mirmati about it. Cadenza, I think, just needs to be taken into account because I think she'll just be the one to trip out. I think longer is probably better for her. I think the 6 furlongs is probably where she wants to nestle. But just talking about trip from a trip standpoint, I think Cadenza does get out. But you guys know me. The 5.5 furlongs is never my strongest opinion of the day by any means. Let's see. Anyone else we want to talk about before we move on? We already talked about Mythical. That's who I really wanted to mention.
About Pat's 2.
Sorry. Yeah. Of course, the 2 on top.
Yeah.
Please. You're the only one that's got some cojones on the screen to take a double-digit price so far. So please, Pat. George Weaver, I like the horse a little bit too. I have her in 3rd.
There you go. Yeah, listen, I don't know, Kyle. She, last race obviously was back at the beginning of the new year, which I thought was a good race. Off a little bit of a layoff. She was closing late, which she wasn't doing in her maiden races. She was sitting on the lead and showing, a ton of speed. So I just think any improvement, in her 3-year-old year, this allows her. I think this is, allows her to be a square price, at these odds. And I think if she could step forward, I don't see why not. I don't think she needs the lead at all. I'm just kind of hoping that this race is kind of everybody sticks around what their buyers are, and I can get a price on this horse. It might be a cheeky pick, but I'm going to try and catch a price.
Dude, 12-1 in a sprint, turf sprint. Trust me, I'm not going to be able to talk you off it. That's for damn sure. In the Galway, I'm going 5.62. Pat's going 2.76. Charlie's going 6.53. Noah's going 7.63. Hola, Manuel. Gracias por mirar. I was close to not saying that, mi amigo. But thank you very much for watching, my friend. Graciously appreciate you as always. 805 Noodles is here. Says, Andrew, are you going to be on the Woodbine show tomorrow? I don't know. He's at work again. I was going to say, I actually don't know the answer to that. But that's where 805 Noodles. Good luck to you, my friend, at the King's Plate. Guys, let's move on to race number 9, or sorry, race 11, excuse me. Starter allowance 40,000, going a mile out of everyone's favorite Wilson Shoot for New York breds only. It's a field of 8. Bringing out the pick there up on the screen right now. The morning line favorites, number 2 calling card, Manny Franco, Linda Rice at 5-2. Second choice, number 7, Come Full Circle for Pratt and Joe Sharp at 3-1. Third choice, the number 1, Dinner Royale for Jamie Rodriguez and Amelia Green. Bringing up our picks on the screen right now. See, 3 of us are going with the number 2, the favorite calling card. The man of the hour is the one going against the grain with also Charlie, very base, my friend. We all have the horse in there somewhere, Pat, but you're the one against us 3 with one of your best bets of the entire day, if I'm not mistaken. In race 11, what'd you like most about the number 7, Come Full Circle?
Yeah, listen, Come Full Circle comes out of that race that was in the slop in that downpour when I believe we were all up there for that race on that Saturday. He broke terribly that day, and I just wasn't able to really get into it. And then started coming in the stretch. Junior was on the winner that day, Solo Jim, who got a perfect trip. And I just thought that Come Full Circle, should appreciate getting, that added distance, that mile shoot, which I've had so much trouble. I don't know about you guys handicapping these races out of the mile shoot. I just can't get a grip on, what's the better side, what's the better gate you want to be in, more towards the inside or the out. I just can't gauge it at all. I think Come Full Circle, may go off as the favorite. But like I said, I like that last race considering the circumstances and the start. And I'll give that horse another chance, as I did have that horse last time.
They said we all have the horse somewhere, so we absolutely think the horse is live. But Charlie, the inside is always where you want to be, at least at Saratoga out of the Wilson chute, because that first turn comes up awfully quick. And if you're stuck out wide, I do like Come Full Circle, though, in the sense that the horse should just drop back. It shouldn't be too wide in that first turn. But all of us are going with the number 2 in this race, the 5-2 favorite. Calling card, while not too creative by any means, off the claim for Linda Rice, Manny Franco, and a horse that won by 7.5 last time at a mile. It should get a very good trip as well.
Yeah, and Linda's so good first off the claim. Her and Manny have been so good together. You know, Manny rode both of these horses that are the 2 main favorites, and he chooses to stick to this one, I think, for good reason. For me, ultimately, and I'm curious what you think, Kyle, I sort of felt that the 2 horses that stuck out to me primarily the most actually were the 2 and 7. That being said, I don't see there being a crazy pace in this race. There's obviously going to be some that are forward, but that's how I ultimately landed with the 2 and 4 as my top 2. Is I just think they're both going to have the jump on the 7 as Timeform, who, you know, we always rave about, and I think they did a good job here as well. I think they're both just going to have the jump on the 7, which is, I think Pat made a lot of good points, but that was my one concern that had me knock the horse down to 3rd is the 7's going to have to be able to hunt down this 2 and 4, and I'm not sure they will, and the 2's going to have the jump on both of them. Obviously, last time, I don't think this is one that truly needs the lead by any means. I think was able to sit pretty close naturally with Manny and then just blow the doors off that field as a heavy favorite. But I think if Manny can just sit a nice trip, save some ground, sit off the early speed, that's probably going to be some cheap speed in here, and then goes by, I think the others are going to have to hunt him down, and I'm not sure they'll be able to. Oh, man, it's his 2nd of the evening. He's cooking, chat.
Dude, I don't even know why I did that, to be honest with you, because I saw the White Sox hit a home run. I was literally just checking who hit it. I don't even know why I muted myself in that regard. So I got 3 strikes. I only got 2, so we're okay so far. Noah, you also have the horse on top. Again, the horse just seems to make a ton of sense, and of course, it's Linda Rice off the claim. Don't feel like you did hit more on that, but anything more you want to add or anything else on maybe the one horse you and Pat have in 2nd, while none of us have anywhere.
It's funny because that was calling cards versus victory since the one time he broke his maiden by basically the length of the stretch, which is kind of funny. I mean, he ran in some tough spots. Maker ultimately gave him up for 30 last time, and he blew the doors off that field. I'm envisioning these trips in my head, and I just feel like calling card is going to get such a great pocket spot that he's just very hard to pass up in this race. And Linda also claimed this gelding for herself, which when she does that, I tend to pay more attention. I mean, Linda's very good off the claim to begin with. So I think he was definitely tough to pass up. Dinner Royale, I thought if there was a lone leader, could be the one from the inside post. He was in that same race with Come Full Circle. Watching the replay, he was like pressing from the inside. I just didn't think it was a trip that's necessarily a winning recipe. If Jamie's able to wing it out there, I think he's got a chance to maybe wire this group. He's stretching out in distance from the 7 to the mile, the Wilson chute. Meanwhile, the 4, I don't know if he's really going to be on the lead, and the 5's cutting back from 9 furlongs to 8. So there's a chance that he's just fastest out of the gate, takes his field wire to wire. If not on the win in at least a very long time.
Yeah, no, that absolutely could be. But that's also a very good point to bring up on calling card. The fact that he won his first race, you know, like you said, he's been in, you know, state bred stakes, allowances, all that type of stuff. Once he got put back into the claiming level, it was by far where he's most competitive. Lost to McDiesel, the 5, actually by a head, 3 back, dropped him for 30, and like you said, blew the doors off that field. Now put back up in the starter allowance company. Linda trying to take a little bit of a shot with the new claimee. Charlie, last words, then we'll move on to the last race.
Yeah, I was just going to say this. The 4 horse, by the way, was working at Fairhill. So I just think that's something we have to just point out there. Also, was supposed to have IRAD aboard, which is kind of interesting. So maybe IRAD was really believing in Fairhill as well. Obviously, the question is going to be who now takes that mount as well. Maybe we can see if that who was it, Ricardo that was on their mount? So maybe, I don't know, does he have a ride in here? Oh, he doesn't. That's convenient. All right, so maybe Ricardo hops on. But just curious who we think rides the 4 and what we think, about that effort as well. I think that's another reason to keep him in the mix for sure. See if he runs off the screen.
We're going to get freaking canceled, dude. I swear to God, we're going to get freaking canceled.
Well, at least we're going out with Pat. If there's any way.
Last show with Pat. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of Bettin N Boozin. No, it's of course that's absolutely a thing that needs to be. And again, we're not insinuating anything. The horse did run well at Colonial, but we talk about those scratching off the turf races. There was something there, Kyle. Well, trust me, I'm in the boat of everyone, but I'm just not. I'm trying to keep my, I'm not. I don't even know. I'm trying to keep. What's a fair hill? I agree with Jackson's comment. I don't know what that is.
Kyle, you need to explain what's going on with these jokes.
Yeah. But if we give away the inside joke, Pat, it's not as funny.
Yeah.
It's true. Very true.
All right, that's another. All right,
that's a very good question.
Us four on the screen. You knew it'd go off the rails at some point. In race 11, I'm going 2-4-7. And Peter Galvin, I see you in the chat. Of course, I don't know it. Look, we're not going to touch on it. We had touched on it already a little bit in the chat. It's at least damning, to say the least. In race 11, I'm going 2-4-7. Pat's going 7-1-2. Charlie's going 2-4-7. Noah's going 2-1-7. Guys, of course, we'll move on to the last race. We'll talk quickly through it, and then we'll go to best bets. It's a maiden claiming 50 going routing on the turf, mile in the 16th for New York maidens, and bringing up our picks on the bottom of the screen right now, as long with the Equibase. Three of us, Pat on his own again. He just wanted to be a little contrarian for the last mainstay show that he has. Three of us are going with the number 8, Gilbane for Manny Franco, and Amelia Green at 5-2. Pat's going with the number 1, the second choice on the morning line before the win. Jose Ortiz hopping on for Elizabeth Merriman. Obviously needs to be taken into account. Is 0 for 10, however, has been running in much, much tougher. This is the first time he's dropping into the claiming rank.
Yeah, this is the drop down, one of the bigger drop downs. I get it, 0 for 10. Those races, though, the last two have not been pretty. I did think, 3 back at the beginning of May, he didn't run bad at all, and he was coming on late with Jamie Rodriguez, and I thought that race visually was pretty good. And I'm going to hope, that he is going to come from out of it. I'm hoping he trips out with the rail. Jose can save all the ground in the world, and just be able to kind of trip out from here, because, this is one of those tough maiden races to end the card, and I believe that this is before the wins last chance, because he's going to get claimed in this spot, just considering what he's done in his past.
Yeah, I mean, you would really imagine, right? All of us have the horse in the mix somewhere. You guys, Charlie and Noah, have him second. I have him third. Absolutely makes a ton of sense, especially off the drop. But all of us are going with the 8 anyway. Charlie, I'll let you talk. Noah, hit on anything. This horse ran very well off the layoff, first time at maiden 50. This is a horse that originally started for maiden 25 and only lost by a neck at the Meadowlands of all places, but ran very well last time. And I thought Charlie ran a really nice winning race. Just unfortunately got caught at the wire. So when you see, lose by a neck, lose by a head, you're worried about the type of second-itis kind of shipping in. But I thought he ran very, very well last time. And unfortunately, maybe just wasn't fully cranked off that layoff and maybe needed one. If he does improve off that last one, he absolutely makes a ton of sense in this race.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I almost, and I'm still thinking about it as we're talking live on air, almost made this one of my best bets. I just think there's so much to love. I mean, you look, and this was one that was started out, for Miguel at the maiden 25 claiming, went off heavy favorite there, lost by a neck, and then he had the confidence to move up and go to New York. And this was one who still took money and, wasn't ridden by one of the top jockeys by any means. Then trainer switch hasn't been seen in a long time. Obviously, Manny saw enough with when he's been having the meat of his career, decides to get on this one, takes money again despite the layoff and what this horse had been running against in the past and where this horse had been running and all these other reasons you could argue to potentially bet against this horse. And then, like you said, I mean, in a pretty decent pace, especially for this kind of level, as you saw towards the end, was sitting right off, was right there the whole time, obviously just missed by a head. I'm not worried about second-itis when a horse has only had 3 career starts. I think it's, too early to start worrying about that. And I think if you ask the connections, in a race like this off that kind of layoff, would you take a second by a head off, first off the bench like that? I think they would absolutely. I just think there's a lot more upside here. Obviously, the one, from a figures and who they face perspective is the horse to beat. I just don't like the 0 for 10. I feel like that one, even if it is dropping now, maybe they should have made that drop sooner. And I don't want to find out the horse will probably be the favorite as well on the 11th try. I'd rather take the horse who's second off the layoff and it's only had 3 tries. I also just thought it was interesting to see a different side of him where, in the past, 2 back was sitting pretty clearly out of it. On debut was somewhat close, but they also were walking the dog on that race. And then this time tried to sit a lot closer as well. So I like that versatility that maybe he can sit more of a stalking trip as well and work out a nice trip with Manny. So I just think there's a lot to like here and a lot of upside.
I love this horse, and this horse will be bet from me on Saturday. Noah, anything to add? And then you can bring in the one, you can bring in the 5, anything you want, and then we'll move on to best bets.
No, you guys hit the nail on the head, and especially you, Kyle. I mean, he did everything but win last time, and the horse he lost to, Leave Me, had kind of a similar profile to the one where it had plenty of tries at the special weight ranks, now dropping in, and I thought really ran really well. Second off the bench, should be ready. I'll have some extreme backups with the 5, who actually was a shorter price in that race, funny enough. His effort 3 back here at Saratoga when he just lost by a nose is plenty good enough to win, and then was chasing a slow pace after that. I have no idea what happened last time. But with these lower level horses, it's such a yin-yang game. There's a chance that he maybe steps back up. So when I'm playing pick 5s or whatever, I'll have him as a backup.
No, and that makes a ton of sense. You get Carmouche aboard too. Hopefully, maybe a little bit more aggressive for David Donk to be able to. I don't know what they're geeking all the time at each other. I don't know what.
I'm laughing at Jim in the chat.
I know Jim.
Comment of the chat.
Well, Jim. I mean, Jim's always on it. He says going with all Pat's picks. Can't get over how smart he looks with that light over his head. Jim, always a fantastic chatter. Guys, we'll move on to best bets here, my friend. Pat, of course, we're going to have to let you go first. In race number 9, a win bet with the number 5, Fort George. In race 11, a win on number 7, Come Full Circle. Man trying to appease to the host with the 2 win bets to, again, kick off what's going to be a fantastic referee season for Pat.
Yeah, I was thinking about just going a straight pick 5 because that's what we started with.
That would have been fantastic. Yeah.
But we talked about Fort George in the Christophe Clement. Listen, that's going to be a wide open race from betting board. So you're going to get your price. So I'm looking forward to betting that race. And then Come Full Circle. Maybe you guys will make the 2 the favorite in that race, so I can get that horse at a little bit of a price. But now listen, another good fun Saturday card, and looking forward to it.
Of course, we'll have Pat talk at the end of the show after best bets. Don't go anywhere because I have some good ones pulled up from a long time. It's been over 3.5 years now since we started this show, so got some good ones. Charlie, to you next, my friend. Which this could also be played as a pick 3 if you do indulge. Race a double in race 8, 2-8 with 7. That is Cardman, the Chad Brown, and Damavan, the Pletcher for David Egan, with the number 7 in the Christophe Clement turf being the filly or the mare. I said it again, the mare Survie in that race, and then a win on the number 6 Mauna Loa in race 10, the Galway.
Yeah, Mauna Loa, I already talked about, my thoughts on that field, and I just feel that there's a chance, obviously it could heat up, but I just don't think anybody looks crazy in that field. Obviously, the big question, in my opinion, would ultimately end up being, if Mythical ends up being able to translate that speed on dirt to turf, that could change things. That being said, I'm going to trust her in that field that looks disappointing, to say the least. And then in the first part, I talked about, I think the 2 and 8 have been working fantastically in the mornings, in my opinion. Going to try to play them into a price with the 7. I think the safer best bet probably would have been to go with the 8 in the last, Kyle, that I know you and I like, but I had a feeling I might not be the only one to like that one, and wanted to look for at least one of my bets to be more of a value play here. So I'm going to try to play them into the 7, and what's a wide open race. But I do want to say I thought Noah had made some pretty good points about the 5 horse as well, as that was one I had for quite a bit of money on that day, so I tried not to use that one on top, but I did see that gallop out as well, and I think that's the other one if my 7 loses, who makes a lot of sense there at a good price.
Just like a true married couple. They bicker the whole show and then kiss and make up at the end. Let's see how cute that was.
That's extremely graphic, and I prefer you not.
Noah's best bets. You also have Fort George on the win end of the Christophe Clement, and then ending the day with a double in race 11. You're going 1-2. That's Dinner Royale and calling card, with the 8, who we all liked in the last, whose name is slipping my mind, Gilbane.
Yeah, so I'm with Pat on the first bet. I'm against Pat the second bet, the double with the 2 inside runners. One of them, the Amelia Green. The other one is calling card. Kyle said that inside posts do better at the mile shoot, so I will abide by my king's orders, and I will use 1-2 in the double with the horse that, like we said, ran a winning race last time out, Gilbane. Second off the bench, Amelia Green once again. She could have the late double as well. So nothing too creative, but seemed like the last 2 races were pretty straightforward to me.
He went a win and waste. He absolutely did that, and unfortunately, I'm with you as well. I'm no stranger to playing short win bets this is me. Irresponsible. I love Ancient Egypt in that race. I'm playing him with both hands. You'll actually see me playing with him with both hands because I'm actually hosting the Weekend Warriors show on Saturday. So please come check us out then. Again, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss when we go live. Live racing on Saturday from both Woodbine and Saratoga and Gilbane and the last guys. I kind of hinted at it in both races when we covered to kind of give away my own best bets, but love these two horses. Basically just gonna be two big win bets for me on the day, and we live and die by the win pool. Gentlemen, thank you all for joining me, but we do have one special guest quick, and then we will move on a little bit to memory lane, and of course come back for Pacific Horseplayers that starts here at 9:00 Eastern time from the man's classroom, ladies and gentlemen, the boss man, Howard Kravitz. Howard, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing? Live from Round Lake High School in Round Lake, Illinois. Just finished open house. I had to come on, guys. Sorry I couldn't join you earlier. Work, responsibilities. But a few quick things before we talk about Pat. First of all, what do you guys know about one of the 7 wonders of the world, the pyramids? Are you guys familiar with the pyramids?
Oh, I know plenty about the pyramids, my friend.
If you know about the pyramids, you know who's going to win the Clement. Ancient Egypt. Mic drop, baby. Let's go. Number 1. Number 2, I love when Kyle tries to speak Spanish. It's always a wonderful thing.
I couldn't help myself there.
I know. Kyle, your co-hosts behave themselves very nicely.
I know. Don't
Number
worry.
3,
National Spanish Honor Society, too, by the way.
I believe it. How ironic that Pat's last, in quotes, last pick is come full circle because, that's what Pat has done. And I'll leave some thoughts for Pat here after we show what do we got, a montage, Kyle? We got some, what do we got for Pat here to unofficially end his reign on HHH?
Oh, don't you worry. We got some fun. We got my Pat's first pick he ever gave out on the podcast. We have actually all of us on the screen, our favorite Patrick Kunsel moment of all time.
I know exactly what that is.
And then a couple good Weekend Warriors shout outs for him. We gotta end lighthearted here again, it's not like he's leaving for good. It's not a funeral. We gotta have a little bit of a fun moment to end it. He's got the tissues. I got another beer right here. We'll shotgun for it, but no. But obviously, we gotta give the man a little bit of we won't be able to give him a little bit of crap over the next couple of months. So got to get it all in now. So Howard, you're more than welcome to stay on if you want to watch this. If not, we can take you off.
I want to stay on, and I want to say something very briefly at the end.
Okay, so let's go through them. This pained me to watch, guys, because it's not the greatest thing in the world. The first Bettin N Boozin show ever created. Not only was it an hour and 40 minutes long, it was an hour on sports first for the NFL season, then was a late pick 4 at Gulfstream Park. I'm going to play at least a little bit of it, and I believe, Pat, I had you talk first as we covered the late pick 5 at Gulfstream Park for January 13th, 2023, if you can believe that. Wow. I'm going to actually, one sec. I'm going to need to reshare with sound because trust me, you'll definitely want to hear this because this is going to be embarrassing for all of us. But in the old house with Pat in his old house with the New York Giants jersey on, you here as I bring up the PPs with Diamond Cool on top. Pat, do you remember Diamond Cool by any chance?
Line. No, I do not.
One on the morning line, you're getting decent pay there. I like horses that go from a longer distance, running longer distances and cutting back into shorter distance. And when you look at this horse, Diamond Cool's PPs, the horse is actually, is a pretty fast horse, gets out to an early lead, and he seems to die off in the end. My angle here is at a shorter distance. I feel like this horse should catch this distance at the perfect distance and hit it right between the eyes and
hit it right between the eyes. And did the horse hit it right between the eyes? Find out.
From the outside, Adios Papa Chico, 5150 has it all to do with a quarter of a mile left to go. It's a confident-looking Jose Ortiz on Diamond Cool, who cuts the corner with a 3-length head start. For the Love of Art is second. Adios Papa Chico is now third. There's an eighth of a mile to go, and Diamond Cool is well clear. For the love of art, trying to hold on to second, but Adios Papa Chico still closing. He has a shot for second, but Diamond Cool is 2-1, and he's in front.
And ladies and gentlemen, it was all downhill from there, let me tell you. But Pat, the first race we ever covered, and we're not showing the rest of it because it's not great. But the first one was a 12-length winner or something like that he called. 2-1 was a little higher than that on the morning line. I think it was 5-1 on the morning line. But everyone bet Pat's first pick on Bettin N Boozin on the HHH Racing Podcast, and he absolutely knocked it out of the park. But ladies and gentlemen, my favorite Patrick Kunsel moment of all time. This is a Pegasus World Cup undercard stakes show from 2025. It's last year's, and his pick of the Filly and Mare Turf, ladies and gentlemen. Roundtable, just like ESPN, talking about your picks. And Pat, I will start with you first. Who do you like in the Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf?
White Abario.
Filly and Mare Turf.
Hey, listen to directions.
I did not listen to directions. You got to come back to me.
All right. I didn't even give a pick either.
I said that with such confidence too. That it was just...
That's actually the first time I've heard that. Boy, you were so confident with the White Barrio pick, Pat, on the turf in a female race.
That is. I know
Noah there. Like I don't know when was that? That was 2 years. Two or
January
3.
22nd, 2025. We kept the man up past his bedtime.
Yeah, he looked very, very tired of that.
Yeah, I've used that as an excuse a lot over the last couple of years with you guys, so that's got to go by the wayside.
I was just going to ask Kyle, like how you did with the first clip. I was going to see if you by chance had a clip showing White Abario actually winning that race as well, or if he did not end up running that.
Which one? The Filly Mare Turf?
Yes. Did he end up running there? No.
Oh, he actually scratched out of that race. He actually ended up winning the Pegasus World Cup, and I'm pretty sure that it was a good decision that he scratched out of the Filly Mare Turf to run in the Pegasus World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. 2 quick Weekend Warriors. Howard, I couldn't figure out how to cut it, so we're just going to show it for the program. Cool. Great. Friend of the show, Chris Walsh, who's been in the chat. This was a winning moment. This was episode 5 of Weekend Warriors. To be honest with you, I don't know what episode we're on, but I love Pat. When Pat wins, and when he starts winning in horse race, you could see the zone in. It's one of my favorite things.
I'm not sure he knows what this clip's going to be, actually.
I don't think so, but it's good.
Oh, gosh.
Can you put us on screen also, Kyle?
Yep, of course I can.
Yeah, I want to. Go ahead.
Oh, shoot.
You got the sound?
Oh, it's muted. Hold on, sorry. One more time. That's host. All right, strike 3. I'm out. That's host fail.
Now.
Get on!
Flyer nailed her.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm like delayed.
For second with
That was a good one, Pat. That was big for our pick 5, if you remember.
Yes, that was. I do remember that. That was a good one.
Again, it's remember that video of us like at NHC hour where we're all like leaning together. Dude, yes, awesome. Please put that in the group chat. I'm so using that when I absolutely crush.
Is there a way we can turn that into like an animation that people in our chat can comment at random times? Like,
dude, an emote would be fantastic of that. Either way, guys, we're gonna go. I want to go an hour 15 max on this show. And for those that don't know, Stephen Foster Day, of course, Howard, Pat, and Noah were all at Churchill Downs. It was a fantastic show that we did that day. Has 19,000 views. But my favorite part of the entire show was in the middle of it when the man was just as hungry as could be.
3-2 to 5-2 range. Is Pat there? Or is he gone?
Yeah, he's here. He's I think we're on a mission to find some chicken tenders because he's getting pretty angry. So I think that's the direction that we're gonna head. So we'll let you guys go.
Right here.
Kyle had a chicken finger.
I had a chicken tender out as well. I didn't pull up the clip because we don't have time for it, but the chicken tenders, they were got, Pat. They were, and Pat was sufficed for the rest of the show. Just a couple of course, reminiscences of Pat, but both hilariously tired, hilariously hungry. Of course, the winning moment, not only from that for the Pick5, but also the first race that he ever gave out on this show. The horse won by 12 lengths. Boss man, I'll leave you with the floor, and I'll let Pat say some stuff, and then we'll end the show.
Yeah, I know we got to go because we got Pacific Horseplayers coming on soon. Pat, you know how we all feel about you. We know this is not a final goodbye, but you've come so far, man. I mean, when you first joined the show and we talked, I'm like, you know what? This young guy really wants to learn. He's enthusiastic, but I was thinking, boy, this might be a bit of a learning curve because we sort of deep dive. Pat, you've come so far, and that's a huge compliment. You're an excellent handicapper. You've done so many great things for the show, and I know you know this already, but most importantly, you're a great friend to all of us, and we're all family. And that's the great thing about this show, Kyle, is that, you know, people that are on this show, we become a real brotherhood and real family. And no matter how many times Pat is or is not on our shows anymore, we all know that, you know, he'll be there for us and we'll be there for him. So, Pat, congratulations, man, on this run. We look forward to, I want to see you on a Saturday afternoon making an important call in the big house or something in the next few years. So, or, you know, actually wouldn't be in Notre Dame because if
don't
you know about your
screw me,
fandom, that'd be a problem. But seriously, Pat, good luck. And we love you. And thanks for being a part of the HHH pod. And we look forward to having you back on again periodically when the time is right.
Yeah. Thanks, Howard. Guys, listen, it has been a blast and it will continue to be a blast. Obviously, like we talked about, I'll make sure to pop on when is needed. But you know, these nights where I get to come on for an hour and a half and hang with you guys and talk horses from, you know, what we talked about with Diamond Cool on our first episode, sounding like somebody that was a rookie beyond rookies to now. It's just been a ton of fun. And behind the screen, we're all best friends. And that's what I truly appreciate about this group. So, and that's never going to change. So, I appreciate it. I'll be watching when I can, but we'll keep moving forward here, and you guys will ride the ship strong.
No, we will, Pat. Of course, again, everyone, this is not Pat's last time on the show. I promise it's not Pat's last time on the show. But again, we will get the man on when it does see fit. So we are very excited for him, not only with his career, but to have him back on when the time comes. And thank you guys for joining us. Pat, thanks again for everything. And thank to you out there, everyone, for watching what's been a special edition of episode 194 of Bettin N Boozin here on the HHH Racing Podcast, covering the late Pick5 for Saratoga on Saturday. For my co-hosts, Patrick Kunsel, Charlie Freeman, and Noah Maher, and the boss man to the right, Howard Kravitz, owner and founder of the HHH Racing Pod, I've been your host, Kyle Roscoe, and until next time, everybody, crush those bets, win those photos, stay safe, everyone. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good night.